Wrestling is a sport. It's a fight with rules in some ways, and it's one-on-one combat, and the objective is to take your opponent down to the ground, hold them there and pin their shoulders to the mat. Essentially, I mean, wrestling is a sport of executing techniques to take your opponent from his feet down to the ground, and then hold him there and essentially put him on his back. That's the sport of wrestling, probably in its most raw form. A fight with rules is what I like to say. There's no punching, but it's very physical. I've been coaching for, 13 years. I'm on my 14th year as a college coach, my 5th year as a head coach. You get your head in his ear, wrong ear. Same side as the tie-up. Here, see that? Get your head on the same side. Head in the ear, head in the neck. Circle, circle, circle. Yeah, see when you circle, look what happened. Move your feet. You gotta move your feet. You can't just use your hands. You gotta move your feet.
Every sport's hard in its own merit. Wrestling is uniquely tough because while doing all the competitiveness and conditioning and all the cardio, the wrestlers also have to cut weight and manage their weight. Guys lose 10 pounds within 3 days, and they'll be expected to perform at that weight. They'll be dehydrated, and they'll cut out food, and it's bad. Every athlete has to weigh in before they wrestle, and in college you weigh in 1 hour before you compete, before the competition starts. So our kids are weighing in, and then putting some nutrition in their body, and then competing 1 hour later. And they have to be at their weight class or below in order to be eligible to wrestle. I've been wrestling for about 8 years now. Yeah, I started in 7th grade, and I worked my way up, while most kids start when they're like 3, 4, or 5. So I started pretty late. I've gotten a lot better since I've gotten here. I work real well with the coaches. They've been training me up, trying to make me the best I can be. I'm one of the top kids in the country, and eventually win a national title. So.
Dual meets are team versus team. So a dual meet would be us versus UPenn. And it would be our 10 weight classes versus their 10 weight classes matched up, man versus man, from the lightest weight class to the biggest weight class, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. But, I guess what you're saying is compared to a tournament is an individual tournament where you compete as an individual. You score points for your team, but you compete as an individual within your weight class. And that's how our conference is determined, and that's how our national championship is determined.
Lift. Chop that leg out. Good. Nice lat return. Chop over. Run your feet. Run your feet. Chop, chop.
Ooh, I love that.
Hey, 20 seconds, stay in here. Pull that.
If you have the most points when the match is over, you win, obviously. There are different ways to win. You can win by a major decision, which is winning by 8. You beat your opponent by 8 points or more. And then there's a technical fall, which will actually stop the match if you are ahead of your opponent by 15 points or more. And then you can also stop the match early with a pin. And a pin is, pinning your opponent's shoulders to the mats for 1 second. So it's not 1, 2, 3 like in the WWE. But yeah, so so you get different points for your team based on how badly you beat your opponent.
college wrestling compared to high school wrestling is everyone is a lot smarter with their technique. They all wrestle harder, they're all stronger. It's just everything like +10.
Yes! Short time! Short time! Get it! Someone to the front! On the point! Get this!
I've been wrestling for 13 years. I have sustained a couple of injuries. I sprained my ankle. I was out for about a day or two. That was kind of fast. I just taped it up, iced it every day, kind of kept going. I flipped my IT band in my knee, and that was pretty painful. It still hurts me today, but I mean, I take a lot of painkillers and ice it a lot, massage it a lot. Just haven't really stopped wrestling yet with it, but if it just keeps getting, if it gets worse, then I'll take it day by day. But so far it's holding up pretty well.
You know, most wrestlers are going to get injured in some shape or form throughout every season. You know, there's, you know, you get cuts. You know, you're cutting your face open, you're dislocating fingers, you're tweaking your shoulders, you're tweaking your knees, and it's brutal. It's been like when our guys get done with a tournament where they might wrestle 4 or 5 matches. I mean, their faces are all beat up, their foreheads are all, you know, scabbed up, and you know, cuts and scrapes, because you're really getting after it. You know, head to head, banging heads, and it's pretty physical. So yeah, I mean, joints get tweaked, and it's hard to stay healthy. You know, but these guys are young and flexible, so.
The worst injury that I've ever sustained while wrestling, I would say have to be my torn meniscus that I had last year. I twisted my knee in an open match, and the cushion between your knee, that's what you know as your meniscus, and mine got torn because of torsion. And I had to have surgery, and I had it removed. I was only out for about a few days, but that's probably the worst I've had from wrestling. Other guys, they get concussions, torn shoulders, or broken legs, torn ACLs. It's a very common thing. It's because of the amount of physical contact that's in our sport. The struggle is getting back into the mood of things, because once you're in season, you're conditioned, you're doing the same thing again and again, day to day. Your muscles are used to it, and when you completely stop that, you go cold turkey. It's really hard because you're winded, everything hurts, you get this real negative attitude, and you really just have to fight past it to come back. And I was out for about a few months because after I tore my meniscus, I had a orbital floor fracture, which is a broken eye socket. So I was done for a while. And coming back into it, it was rough. I was getting my butt kicked, my conditioning was horrible, and I sustained a few beatings while doing it.
Season's looking good. Right now in duels, we're 3-4. All 4 of our losses coming to ranked teams. And just on Sunday, we beat Northwestern, the number 20 ranked team in the country. So that was a big win for our team. And we had a big individual win with Matt Samato beating the number 1 guy in the country and returning national champion. But overall, the team's coming together, and you know, I like where we're at.
This season's looking pretty well. I got injured. I sprained my MCL, which it happens. I'll be back next week, just because I want to get back in the motions of things. I don't want to be out for too long, and it's looking pretty good. Right now, I'm 1-2. It's not horrible, but I can come back from that. I got about 50 matches to wrestle.
The EIWA is our wrestling conference. It's the Eastern Intercollegiate Wrestling Association. It's the oldest wrestling conference in the country. It's 111 years old, I think. It's the largest wrestling conference in the country with 16 teams, and probably the second most competitive conference in the country, behind the Big Ten. Yeah, every year our whole team goes to the EIWA. There's 10 weight classes in wrestling, and we have one representative at each weight class every year that goes to the EIWA. And then through the EIWA, that's how you qualify to the national championship. We had our first EIWA champion last year, Kevin DeVoy. And we've only been in the conference for 2 years, so we're new. We're new to the conference.
Competing in the IWAs was an amazing experience. I would say it's like the second toughest conference in the country. So it's a big step up for our program, and it's hard work. There's a lot of good competition, so it prepares us for the national tournament. I've been wrestling about 15 years. My goal is to be a national champion. That's about it.
I want to be able to wrestle in the IWAs. I want to win the spot and then be able to wrestle and then set my goals as that goes through.
Our goal for this year is to place top 3 in the conference and get an All-American. So I've been here for 4 years. This is my 5th year, and we've been close. Last year, Kevin DeVoy lost in overtime to be All-American, and being an All-American in wrestling is placing top 8 at the national championship. So we really feel like we have 2 or 3 athletes that could really be on the podium this year, and we're hoping to earn, to get an All-American. Everybody's striving to be a conference champion, so every one of our guys is trying to win the conference meet, the EIWA championships, and we believe we could be a top 3 team in the conference this year.